Hi everybody, welcome to your spine and back mobility class. In this class we're going to be working with spinal flexion, extension, transverse rotation or twisting and lateral flexion also. To strengthen these functional movements of the body that we use throughout our day and that sometimes become impeded through muscle imbalances. Not just muscle imbalances, also our postural compensation patterns. For example, excessive anterior tilt or posterior tilt can impact on the waves of the spine and the autopilot efficiency, therefore. And so, for example, someone who's anterior tilted may find it hard to create spinal flexion and really get the back body to open. And someone who's very rounded may find it hard to move the spine into extension. It's important that we create a muscle balance on all parts of the trunk, the front, the back and the sides, so that the spine can move in all directions with ease. Okay, so let us start with some cat-cows, meeting you in tabletop on your mat. And you can stack your hips over your shoulders. And just start with some cat-cows. So inhale, extend your spine and look up. And then exhale, curl your tail in your navel, knit your ribs and dome through the upper spine. Inhale, again moving from your pelvis, tilting the pelvis upward. Extend the spine, chest forward and look up. And exhale, curl your tail, pin the navel, knit the ribs and doming through your upper back. Inhale, tilting your pelvis up, extend the spine, feel your head naturally lift and then hold here at your end of inhale. Here your spine is in extension and I'd like you to isometrically drag your wrists back towards your knees. So your arms don't move in space, but there's the intention to drag your hands back towards your knees. And this will help you create more extension through the upper back, activate your lower and middle trapezius, and you can feel your shoulder blades move down the back here and your front chest lift up towards your collarbones. From here, curl your tail, pin the navel, knit the ribs, dome through the upper back. Feel your head just drop down naturally, holding here in your cow pose, or your cat pose I should say, and push the ground away and squeeze the outer forearms into the midline. Feel your scapula spread across the back as you knit your front ribs in and down and close your front chest. If you wish, you can just gently move your head from right to left. And then slowly come back to center. So from here you can rock back onto your heels and then cross your shins and come to a seat. So from here, taking easy cross-legged pose, and we'll just work with lateral flexion. So a nice easy cross leg. If you can, point your toes forward. And then extend your spine up to neutral. Take your left arm wide of your left hip, reach your right arm overhead, palm facing down to create an external arm rotation in your shoulder. And then from here, root down through your right sit bone, squeeze your left waist in and start to side bend. Now from here, you're not trying to keep your spine straight like a diagonal. You're actually trying to arc your spine like a smile or a crescent moon or a rainbow, by squeezing your left waist in towards your spine and squeezing your left ribs in towards your spine, helping your right lateral line muscles and myofascial to release. And taking a couple more breaths. And then slowly inhale, come up, reach your right hand wide, left arm high, again, left palm facing down. Lift the spine, be careful not to round forward. Keep the spine extended. Root down through your left sit bone, inhale. And exhale, squeeze your right waist into the spine, right side ribs into the spine. As you side bend over your right hip, releasing the side body on the left side of your trunk. And then slowly come up to center. Take your right hand to your left knee, left hand behind your sacrum on fingertips. Align your shoulders over your hips, head in line with your spine. Root down into the ground, lengthen up through your spine, draw into your core, and start to twist from the base of your rib cage over your left hip. And just keeping your head now in the center, you don't have to turn the head yet. But just focus on twisting from the waist up and wringing out tension through the upper body. So releasing and twisting through the upper thoracic. Broaden or open your left collarbone, squeeze your left scapula in towards the spine. And now you can start to look out over the left shoulder if your neck permits. Unwinding your trunk forward, back to Sukhasana. And then let's take it to the other side. So right hand behind you on fingertips, left hand to left knee, to right knee, palm facing out. Root down into your sit bones, lengthen up to your spine, and then start to rotate over your right hip, keeping your shoulders stacked over your hips, your head in line with the spine. Twisting from the waist up and feeling into the area of the upper thoracic. Open your right collarbone. Retract or squeeze your right scapula in towards the spine. And then slowly start to look out over the right shoulder if your neck allows. And then slowly come back to center. So from here, we will go back to spinal flexion. So you can come to a child's pose with your knees together. And from here, grab hold of your heels. And now you're going to pull into your core and lift your hips up as far as they can go. If you wish, your hands can slide onto your ankles to help you lift your hips higher. And you're trying to create as much spinal flexion as you can. Pinning your navel up towards your spine, curling your tail, knitting your ribs. Releasing the thoracolumbar fascia in the back body. This is especially important if you're anterior tilted and you overarch in your lower back and lose your abdominal core. So here you're pulling into the front core as you release the lower back. And then slowly calming down. Reach your hands forward. And you can come up to standing, and we'll do some half bends. So you can take your hands on the ground, or you can take your hands on the shins, and inhale, lengthen, and exhale, bow. Inhale, and exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale and exhale. Now from here we're going to Jefferson roll up. So I'd like you to give a generous bend to your knees and lie your belly and your trunk on your thighs. Just drop your head down like a rag doll and let your arms sink down onto the ground. So from here, start to roll the spine up. Your head will be the last to lift. So feel into the base of your spine and move from your hips as you very, very slowly curl your spine. Keep your knees bent, rounding up. Feeling into the uncoiling action of the spine, vertebrae by vertebrae. Keeping your movements really slow so you can focus inward. All the time sensing and feeling into your body. And then when you come up to standing, keep your chin bowing into your chest. Interlock your hands behind your head and just drop your head down, using the weight of your arms to help you lengthen through the back of the neck. You may be feeling a pull at the base of your neck where your cervical spine meets your thoracic. So say hello, lower cervical extensors. So these muscles can become hypertonic with the forward head position, jutting your head forward. So here we're just allowing them to lengthen as you nod your chin down and give more weight of your hands to your head. If you wish, you can make very small no movements, maybe release a little bit of compression from your hands. And just nod your head from right to left, keeping it flexed, keeping the actions very small. Slowly release your hands back down to your hips and then lift your head up in line with your spine. Finding a good Tadasana or mountain pose. Starting with to body sense down into your feet. Notice if you're tipped forward or back. Find a triangle in the feet, big toe man, little toe man, center heel. And weight down evenly. Notice if you're knocking out the knees. If you are, you can micro bend to the back of the knee just a little to activate the hamstrings. And allow your pelvis to find its neutral. You can take your hands to your pelvis. And we just do a few anterior posterior tilts. So from here, draw your pubis away from your navel and extend the spine. And then start to tip your pelvis under and connect into your core. One more, tip your pelvis forward. One more, tip it under. And then finding neutral, a place in your pelvis where you're neither tipped forward or back and the weight is even on the triangle of your feet. You should feel with this neutral weight bearing pelvis that the base of your ribs is naturally tucked in, you're not flaring out. And then when you drop your hands, your shoulder blades can melt down the back. Notice here your head position. Draw your chin in line with the ground and then just draw your jaws back. Draw your head back from your jaws. You may find your front ribs opening a little bit to facilitate your head moving in line with the spine. And from here, we are balancing all the waves of the spine so the autopilot can move into efficiency, and the diaphragm can start to move easier with your breathing. So from your feet hip width Tadasana, you can take your arms overhead, turn your palms in towards each other. Root down firmly through the feet, lift your knees into your quads, pull into your core, and then squeeze your right waist into your spine and take a side bend. Activating your obliques and your QL muscles on your lower back. As you squeeze your right waist into your spine and reach over. Maintain the length through your spine, making sure you're not rounding forward. If it's too much, you could take your bottom hand to your hip, but ideally keeping both arms forward to load your side waist a little bit more. And then come back to standing. And now to the second side, squeeze your left waist in and take a side bend to the left, maintaining your core connection as you squeeze your left waist in, squeeze your left side ribs in at the same time, pulling your navel into your core, your feet evenly weighted, leaning a little bit more to the side. If you can, keep both arms out, as they say. Option to lower your bottom hand to your waist. And then inhale, coming up. And then exhale, take your hands back down to your hips. So from here we're going to do an active rotation, and we'll do it in reverse crescent. So if you stand at the front of your mat, take your arms overhead, pull into your core. Inhale your left leg up. Exhale, slowly step it back to crescent pose. Bend your back knee to help you find that neutral pelvis again, with the tailbone long, where you can pull into your front core. Good. Hug the inner thighs into the midline, draw the outer right hip back, and then draw your left arm forward, right arm back. Now here there's a tendency to lean forward, but you want to keep your shoulders over the hips and start to rotate over your right hip. Turning your trunk to the right long side of your mat as you activate your oblique line. And slowly coming forward and step back up to the front of your mat. Once again, pulling into your core. Lift your right knee up this time, and then slowly step it back to crescent pose, bending your back knee to help you find your core and lengthen your tail. Stack your shoulders over your hips, reach your right arm forward, left arm back, keep your shoulders over your hips, and start to twist out over your left hip. Twisting from the side waist up, releasing tension in the spine, starting to strengthen your spiral line activation here. And your transverse rotation action. All the time pulling into your core. And then slowly coming forward and step your right foot up to your left and release your arms back down to mountain pose. Okay, so from here we're going to go back into flexion, spinal flexion, which is helping us strengthen our rectus abdominis, because our rectus abdominis is the muscle that creates spinal flexion. Yeah, so on our spine at the front we have rectus abdominis, its antagonist or Opposite muscle are the erector spinae. The erector spinae create the extension, the erectus abdominis create the flexion. Yeah, they're your six-pack muscles. Yeah. So we're going to work here with the foam roller. You could also use a rolled up mat or something, because it's not myofascial release. But a roller is great. And if your roller is bigger than mine, you have different sizes, you could put a blanket or something underneath your hips if it was too intense for you. So starting off, we have two settings. The first is just at the base of the scapula. And so set yourself up, interlocking your hands behind your head, inhale. And then exhale, pull into your core. Keeping your front ribs knitting in, so you've got this hollow body through your front body as you connect into your core. Maintaining that hollow body, and start to drop your elbows back so they're up in line with the ceiling. You don't want to drop them back too much and lose the hollow body. Then exhale back up. Inhale back. Exhale back up. Inhale. Exhale. 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 Good. And now from here, I'd like you to press into your feet, lengthen the tail and lift your hips, and then just roll back. So now you're at the base of your ribs, and reset your hips down. So this here is going to go deeper into your core, and we will repeat, and we will do 10. So exhale back. Inhale back, excuse me, my mistake. And exhale up. Inhale back. If it's too much, go bring your roller back up again. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. 4 more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. Exhale. Good. And from here, rolling down, and you can just take your roller to the back of your neck, just above the hairline, and just lie on your back and just give your core a little rest. Okay, so from here you can grab your roller and take it to the side. We won't be using it again. And roll up to a seat. Right, so here we're going to work with what is we call in yoga half boat. And we're just going to start with some easy reps. We're not going to do the pose itself as yet. So starting off, you can take one brick in between your thighs. And you're just going to squeeze your brick. So your knees want to be about the width of your outer hip. So you can choose what setting you use for your brick. And now you will take your hands behind your legs and inhale, lengthen, and exhale, curl back. Now as you curl back, squeeze your inner thighs into your brick to activate your adductors, which fascially connect through your pelvic floor into your core. And then inhale, coming up again to straight. Good. Inhale. Exhale, curling back, pull into your core. Squeezing your brick, feel that core contraction through your pelvic floor, zipping up right behind to the back of the navel. And then inhale, coming up again. And then exhale. Inhale. Exhale, curling back, squeezing your brick. Good, holding for 3, 2, 1. Inhale, coming up. And exhale. Now you can continue to work with your hands and your legs, or for advanced, you can reach your hands forward. So starting in the inhale, plug your arm bones back, create the length in your spine. And then on your exhale, reach forward, closing your chest and knitting your ribs more, and start to roll back. Squeezing your brick, pinning your navel for 3, 2, 1. And then inhale, coming up. And then exhale. Good. Now we'll do some reps. Inhale up, exhale back. Again, you can do hands on legs or you can do arms high. Inhale. Exhale back. Inhale up. 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 3 more. Exhale back. Inhale up. Exhale back. Inhale up. Last one. Exhale back. Inhale up. And now exhale to the ground, nice and slow and controlled. Good. And bring your head and shoulders to the ground. Draw your legs over. And your body, knees over your hips, legs to tabletop. Take your arms out wide. And we'll start with a twisting belly pose. Just a rest after that. And so dropping your knees over. Keeping your knees in line with your hips and your feet in line with your knees. And from here you want to plug the femur of your bottom leg into your hip socket and then grow your top knee forward to remove any sacral compression and just set up your lower back in a neutral position. So you're tipping that left hip forward over your right and putting your right hip back. And then inhale up to center. And then exhale over to the left. Again, leveling out the hips as you draw your top hip forward towards the knee. Keeping your bottom leg, thigh bone or femur plugged back into its hip socket. And then inhale up and exhale, hug your knees into your chest. Good. So from here, we'll do a supine balasana or child's pose. So, but we're going to activate it. So it's core work, spinal flexion. So from here, lift your head and shoulders off the ground and hold your shins and curl your tail off the ground as well. So you're on the base of your scapula and your Tail is curled up, your inner thighs are plugged in towards the midline. And reach your hands forward, trying to get your fingers beyond your toes for 10, 9, 8, pull into your core, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then slowly calm down and just bring your feet to the ground just behind your hips. So from here now we're going to go back to twisting belly, but this time we will bring it to a hover, so we're going to activate it. So exhale your legs over to the right side, hover them off the ground, just an inch off the ground for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale the hips up. And if you wish, before you go to the left side, you can just shimmy the hips over to the left by 1 inch or 2, and then exhale. That little shimmy action makes for a better hip stack to protect your sacral spine when you go into your hover. So it's a hover for 5. We've done, let's say, 3. So 4 and 5. Inhale up, shimmy your hips to the left, drop to the right for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale up, shimmy the hips, drop to the left for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale up, shimmy to the left, drop to the right for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale up, shimmy to the right, drop to the left for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale up and come to center. You can just drop your knees to the ground and take your hands to your belly and just feel into your pelvis. And if you need to lengthen your pubis away from your sternum to find neutral through your spine, you can, or if you need to curl up, you can. As we've been really working our front core, maybe you'll probably find you have to lift through your back a little bit to recreate neutral through your lumbar spine. I'm taking a couple of breaths here. And then from here, you can roll up to a seat. Okay, so here we're going to work with boat pose. We've done half boat curls, and now we're going to work with boat and half boat. So the difference between boat and half boat is in boat pose, your spine is extended. You don't want your lower back to round, and in half boat, you do want it to round. You're in spinal flexion. So let us work here. So you can take your hands to the back of your knees as before and lift the lower back. You're co-contracting your front ab, so you're pinning your navel, but you're not pinning it so much that you round through your lower back. So you're getting these two sets of muscles co-contracting evenly through your bottom rectus and lower erector spinae. Maintaining that, straighten your elbows to lie your trunk back away from your thighs, get light on your feet, and tip up to tabletop. Holding here, or if you can, let go of your hands. So you've got, this is 1, this is 2. You could also do this, straighten your legs and hold your knees, or for the full expression, you can take your hands off. And but whichever version you choose, please work with your straight back. And we'll go for 10 breaths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2 more, 9, 10, good. Take your feet together and bring your knees to the side. And from here, just take a couple of breaths. So you may have found there that your quads were also working really strong, especially if you were working with the straight leg position. And here we're not really working our rectus as much because we're not rounding, but we're working our psoas muscle and our quadriceps. Our psoas is our primary hip flexor, and the quadriceps are the main synergists. So they work together and run in a fascial train. So when any imbalances through the quad psoas complex will reveal themselves, but for sure very strong to have a strong psoas in relation to maintaining, creating a good weight-bearing pelvis. And this for sure is the foundation of your spine, so really, really important for good mobility is to strengthen that complex. So if you have a resistance band, so you've the option of just doing your boat pose again for 10 breaths. And if you didn't, I'm going to grab a band and just show a little modification here. So you can do this with a band or a belt, but if you do it with a band, you get less support, so it makes it a little bit harder. But of course, you can do your boat pose just like so. So you're giving yourself a little bit of support. Now, if this was a yoga belt, it would even be more support. But using the band, as they say, is less. So it means you have to activate your muscles a little bit more. It's helping you a bit, but not too much. So let us start. If you're using a band, I'll talk through. And if you don't need one, let's just do another 10 breath boat. So from your start position, you can have your band in your hand. Lift your spine, co-contract your lower back with your navel, shoulder blades down the back. Kick onto your heels and take your hands close to your feet with your band or your belt. Recreate the length in your spine, connect into your core, tip up to tabletop, and then see if you can extend those legs straight. So pull your arm bones back into your shoulder sockets, retracting your scapula in towards the spine, keeping the expansion through your chest. And from here, holding for 10, we've done 3, but let's say, so 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then slowly coming down. And then just sitting comfortably with the straight spine and cross legs or in cobblers, and just take a couple of breaths to reset. Good. Now, from here, you can take your belt away, and we'll work on half boats. So we've done it, we did the modification here already. So if that's, if you don't want to progress into the full expression of the pose, please go back and just hold your legs again. And if you feel ready, you can go in from boat pose. And so choosing a pose, either bent knees holding the legs or take your boat. And from here, plug your arm bones to get the length in the spine just for a moment, just to get that stack before we go in. And now here, let's start. So reach your arms forward, protract the scapula, pull into your front ribs, and start to squeeze your inner thighs as you start to roll down, pinning your navel, knitting your ribs, rolling back for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then lying on your back. Well done, guys. Take the arms out wide, legs to tabletop. Let's take a passive twisting belly, just to relax a little bit, because that can be quite strong. And then inhale back up, and then to the other side. Okay, and then back up to center. So from here, we're going to go back to a hovering twisting belly to activate our transverse rotation and strengthen the spiral line activation. So this is the double helix moving through your body. You'll have learned it in your anatomy trains, and is the fascial meridian that is responsible for transverse rotation or twisting in the body. And we're very much working here with your obliques and your core. So if you want to progress your hovering twisting belly, you can work with straight legs, and feel free to just bend them again, or even if you needed to take a passive pose. So take your legs to tabletop or straight. If you wish, shimmy to the left just a little bit, and then drop down to the right to a hover. You can also just bend your bottom knee a little bit, again, to help you stack that left hip forward. And then inhale the legs up, shimmy to the right, and drop down now to the left. Inhale up, moving from your core, shimmy to the left, drop to the right. Inhale up, shimmy to the right, and drop to the left. We'll do 5 more each side. Inhale up, shimmy, drop, 1. Inhale up, shimmy, and again. Inhale up, shimmy, drop, 2. Inhale up, shimmy, second side. Try to keep your feet in line with your hips as much as you can. Inhale up, shimmy, and 3. Inhale up, shimmy, second side. Inhale up, shimmy, and 4. Inhale up, shimmy, and left side. Inhale up, last round. Inhale up, and second side. Inhale up, and from here you can pull your knees in and just take a few breaths, keeping your head on the ground so your spine is in extension. And then from here, we're going to work to strengthen lateral flexion a little bit. So you're lying on the ground, your feet can be underneath your knees, hip width apart. And you can lift your head and shoulders off the ground, pulling into your core, reach your hands, and you're going to tap your left hand off your left ankle, right hand off right ankle, and left, and right, and left, and right. So keep going. I'm not going to keep talking here, left, right for the whole time, but keep moving in these little taps. So here, you're activating your rectus abdominis. Again, you'll feel your rectus connects all the way up to the breastbone, so you'll feel the upper rectus contract. But you're also working your obliques, and you're working your QLs in your lower back, between your ribs and your pelvis. Good. Nice. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then slowly calm down. Nice. And just relaxing, letting go of any tension. And now we're going to go back to do another side bend. This time we'll do a passive one, just to reset energetically after the last core drill. So you can extend your legs straight, banana asana. Reach your arms overhead and walk your legs over to the left. Walk your hands over to the left, but your hips don't move. So you've created a half moon shape with your body. Your left hand gently tucking your right wrist. And then to go deeper, if you wish, keep the weight on the center of the sacrum so you're not tipping over to the left. And if you want, you can cross your right leg overneath your left and then put weight on both sit bones. So here, this is a beautiful passive side bend to help open out the lateral chain muscles. So enjoying it and taking a few breaths. And then slowly walk back to the center. Grab hold of the opposite wrist. Walk your feet over to the right this time. And walk your hands over, gently tugging your left wrist. Option to cross your left leg over your right. And reconnecting both sit bones on the ground evenly. And breathing nice and slow. And then slowly come back to center. Okay, great. So from here, roll up to a seat. And we're going to work on strengthening the lateral chain muscles here. So these muscles are very important. For example, your serratus anterior muscles work on creating stability through your scapula. And so they're really, really important here. We'll be working on strengthening those. And also your side waist and your QLs. So your side waist is your obliques, and then your QLs on your lower back will also activate in this drill. So we're working with dropped side plank raises, or lifts. So from here, let's start off in regular dolphin plank. So you can take your elbows underneath your shoulders. Press the palms of your hands together firmly. Lift your chest, curl your toes under, and come up into your dolphin plank. Then from here, tip over onto the outside of your right foot. Reach your left arm overhead, bicep to ear. Exhale, drop your hips down. Inhale, squeeze your waist up. And maybe the left fingers touch, or maybe they don't. Exhale, drop from the hip. Inhale, lift from the waist. Exhale, drop. Inhale, lift. Exhale, drop. Inhale, lift. Exhale, inhale. Exhale, inhale. Exhale, inhale 7. We're going to 15. Exhale 8. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. exhale, 10. 5 more. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, and then slowly calm down. Back to Sphinx pose and take a few breaths. Okay, so coming back into dolphin plank, second side, tip over to the left. You can stack your feet or stagger them. It's easier to stagger if you prefer. Reach your right arm overhead, bicep to ear. Exhale the hip down, inhale, lift the waist. Exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. 10 more, and up. One more. Last one. And then tipping back to dolphin plank and drop down onto your hips. And from here, taking your elbows into Sphinx directly under your shoulder. Your palms are flat, you're weighting your thighs and your pubic bone, pulling the navel back and allowing the extension move into your spine. So we've done a lot of side bending, strengthening the side bending or lateral flexion. We've strengthened our twists or our transverse rotation. We worked with a lot of spinal flexion in our half boats and our curls. And now we're going to just do a little bit of strengthening of the spinal extensors. So from here, keeping the navel pinned, and start to press your elbows firmly down. Create the lift of your trunk off the ground. Lift your knees off the ground, activate your quads, and then hover your arms, holding for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and place your elbows back down. If you wish, make a pillow. Okay, and then from here back into your Sphinx. And we'll do the same again and we'll progress it. So if the progressions are too much, just come back to your hover. Or if you can't, we're going to swim the arms. So again, activate your thighs, your core, come to a hover. And then if you can, reach your hands back to your hips, lift your chest, and then reach your arms forward and up. Exhale, back to the hips. 9 more times. Inhaling, exhaling, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. 5 more. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Last one. Inhale, exhale, dropping your forehead down. And then from here, we'll work with bridge. So you can flip over onto your back. This is our last exercise of today. And just working with bridge, we've already done a lot of, in our hovers there, of strengthening our thoracic spine. And here we're going to be working our lumbar and our hips a little bit more. So placing your heels underneath your knees, hands down by your hips, and find neutral in your pelvis. So you don't want to be in flat back here. You do want to have your lower back lifting off the ground. And we'll actually, from here, just inhale and then shrug your shoulders down the back. Even if your front ribs lift off the ground, that's fine. Just to get those shoulder blades down and come into a little bit more spinal extension. Pull into your core, press down through your feet and lift your hips up. Good. From here, interlock your hands onto your bum. Lift your chest up towards your chin and start to press off your feet to activate your hamstrings and glutes to lift your hips higher. Keep your tail long and keep pulling your inner thighs to the midline. And hug your hamstrings up onto your femurs. Activating your hamstrings. It's very easy to make this pose without activating the hamstrings, so you have to consciously start to bring them in and hug them up. Keep the length through the lower back as you lift the lower back with the glutes and hamstrings, and starting to create balance between your lumbars, glutes, hamstrings and inner thighs as you activate all 4 sets of muscles. Good. Holding here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then slowly calm down. And take a few breaths. Now from here, we're going to repeat the same drill, but this time put a brick in between the inner thighs. Usually what people do here is start to Charlie Chaplin the toes out and overuse the glutes in relation to the lower back. Now, people do that to kind of get the pose, to get more height in the hips. And it's really a compensation for, lack of core, lack of leg strength, to overuse the glutes. So here, by placing the brick in between your thighs and squeezing the brick, you connect more into the core meridian. If you can't lift the hips as high, that's okay, but just work with it. So take your block in between the thighs and start to hug in. From here, point your fingers skyward, press the elbows down, and just extend your spine and draw your shoulder blades down your back. It's okay to lift your ribs off the ground now. Good. And then from here, press into the feet, lift your hips, and then take your hands underneath your bum, interlocking your fingers. Press your outer wrists down, squeeze the triceps to extend your elbows straight. Lift your hips up and squeeze your brick. Keep squeezing the brick as you lift your hips, activating your hamstrings with your inner thighs, and again holding for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and slowly calm down. Slowly release, take your brick to the side, and just walk your feet to the edge of your mat and allow your knees drop into the midline. Okay guys, so from here we're just going to balance the spine and just come a little bit into flexion. So hug your knees into your chest, just to pull into your front core again and just rock from side to side. Your head can still be on the ground. Massaging your lower back off the ground. You can take your hands into your knees and just make little circles. And then make your circles in the opposite direction. Good, and then from here, slide your feet down and take your rest. So before you relax, just start to stack your spine along the center of your body, making sure your head is in line. Draw your shoulder blades down the back, allow your legs to splay out, and just connecting into your center line. And just allow the weight of your body sink down, your skin softening. Allow your inner body to come out of any freeze and regain its bounce. Feeling the circulation of blood through your system, creating a gentle energy flow. The flow of prana, our life force, moving through your fascia. So if you wish to wait longer, please do so. If you feel ready to close your practice, start to move your fingers and toes. Drag your heels into your bum. And slowly make your way to a seat. I hope you enjoyed your spine and back mobility class. Namaste.